This is an abridged version of DOTC. It's exactly like Moon Kitty, and I am so sorry. Don't take it seriously. I think we need to talk about Dawn of the Clans. DOTC has 6 books like every other series, and we're going to go book by book like this until we decide to be adults and look at the arc as a whole maturely. It all starts with the Sun Trail. We start in the mountains because we can't stay away from the mountains in this goddamn franchise with a tribe. We haven't had enough of those, but I like tribe books, so Everyone's starving to death because it's blizzarding like wild, because that's what happens in mountains, and you'd think everyone would have thought of that at the start, but it was meant to be, so... Elders are stealing bones with tiny shreds of meat from kits, like starving. So starving that Stone Teller, because it's a James Bond type title, starts seeing lights and says, "Yep, that's a message, all right. We're packing up camp and following the sun." Meanwhile, some of our protagonists are hunting, or at least trying to. There's some flirting with more protagonists, and then mood whiplash because their little sister is skin and bones and barely responsive. And she's a kit. Welcome to Warriors, folks. Everyone dies. Stone Teller tells everyone her plan, and it basically goes how you'd expect at first. What the actual heck are you talking about? And then come our merry band of adventurers who volunteered and then voted because cats were still up in arms about it. And in the end, there's like 16 of them, so I'll just list their names right now. Clear Sky, Tall Shadow, Turtletail, Cloud Spots, Quick Water, Shattered Ice, Dappletail, Rainswept Flower, Jackdaw's Cry, Hawkswoop, Moonshadow, Falling Feather, Bright Stream, and Shaded Moss. Wait, that's 14. Oh, right. See, Greywing is our main protag ATM, and he doesn't want to go at all. His brother Clear Sky is going, and his crush Turtletail is going, but after his little sister dies, he kinda doesn't want to leave everyone else to starve too. I get it, man. But his little brother Jagged Peak follows the fellowship, even though he was forbidden to. Kids, what are you gonna do? And Greywing goes after him, but really only because his mom asks him to. They have a wonderful adventure with no problems at all. By which I mean they fight an eagle, hide, jump over huge chasms, and almost drown and freeze to death before catching up to everyone else. The running gag is set up that everyone hates Moonshadow and calls him stupid. This may or may not be important, but I'd feel bad if he wasn't such a berry nose. Dapplepill fishes, cats chat, basically character building because these are our friends for the next 6 books, so buckle up. Clear Sky's GF Brightstream is pregnant, and everyone's happy until she's carried off by an eagle. Everyone dies. Greywing angsts and so does Clear Sky because they each think it's their fault, and big misunderstanding for drama, which is not my favorite trope, but they get down off the mountain and there's more hints of where everyone will end up in the future. Some fish, some are fast, etc., etc. Then there are a whole host of misadventures in Two-Leg Place with thunderpaths and dogs and the horrible Two-Legs themselves and mean kitty pets. And honestly, it's what happens every time cats go to Two-Leg Place. You get the drift. They finally get pointed towards High Stones, which is the right way, not your damned Two-Leg Den. And then Shaded Moss, beloved leader of the Fellowship, gets hit by a car. Everyone dies. And everyone is despondent and almost calls it quits, but honestly, we all know they won't. And they find all sorts of places in the forest that everyone could feel right at home in, but they all settle in future Wind Clan camp because they haven't had a POV from them yet, right? And find Wind, who is as prickly as Gorse. And they also meet Gorse, who isn't prickly at all and reminds me dearly of Greystripe. They take off and everyone tries to get settled, and my favorite line in the book happens because it's pure dark comedy and what I wish everyone put in such a situation would say. "Who died and made you leader?" Moonberry Shadownose says. "Shaded Moss, actually," Tall Shadow says. "He literally died right in front of us 2 days ago and we saw his daughter weep over his body, you insensitive ass." Maybe not that part, but you take what you can get. And then our brotagonists clear up their little misunderstanding and mourn together for a bit, while we get to see Clear Sky's Freudian excuse brought to light a little early. Honestly, might as well have a neon sign, but all is not well in the Fellowship, because guess what? Moon and Tall Shadows are arguing. Again. Cats want to hunt elsewhere, the Hollow doesn't feel like home yet, and there are strange and potentially hostile cats and other threats all around. Except Bumble, who is a pretty friendly kitty pet and pretty important later on, but we'll get to her then. Then Wind teaches everyone, hey, you can get food underground, and sows the seeds for tunneling, which, I mean, Wind Clan's already Hufflepuff badgers, so why not learn to dig? And more character building with giant signs saying, hey, these are medicine cats later on. And uh-oh, Turtletail's getting friendly with Bumble and Greywing is suspicious. But it's forgotten in the middle of the argument because foxes. Everyone makes it through alive, which is a shocker and a half for sure, but it drives the rift in the Fellowship even wider apart, and they have another vote. Should we live in the sheltered forest or the high-up moor? It's a landslide for staying, but people have burrs in their fur about it, and everyone who votes for the forest leaves. Turtletail is hanging out more and more with Bumble and goes into a two-leg nest, and the argument picks right up again, and Greywing storms off because he likes her, and we all know he's a little jealous, and it's not because of two legs. Speaking of storms, yeah, we meet her, and she becomes the Veronica to Greywing's Archie and Turtletail's Betty, because what is a warrior's book without a love triangle, am I right? Turtletail goes missing, and Greywing and Storm have some bonding time while looking for her. Turns out she stayed overnight with Bumble, and basically we know by now she's gonna go live with them eventually, but she comes back because this is a running theme throughout DOTC. Wind and Gorse get a little more friendly with everybody, even if Tall Shadow's trying to be all aloof and leaderly and Ice Queen. Literally, because she-cats are actually called queens. Never mind. Storm leads Greywing around future ThunderClan territory and runs into Clear Sky's camp, and he's become really border-focused because he's got bouncers. He's even recruited some more cats, like Petal, who is great, and Fox, who is... Fox, I guess? Clear Sky and Storm have a tsundere moment, and that auto-corrected to Thunder, and that's so appropriate. Tall Shadow asks Greywing if they should add cats, and Greywing's just... I don't know. Why are you asking me about this, and also why are you of all cats asking? Greywing utterly fails at flirting, and there's more love triangle with him being obliviously hopeful, and Turtletail being jealous and drowning your sorrows in kitty petdom. By which I mean, yeah, now she becomes a kitty pet. Because Greywing liked her, he's sad. But hey, he's in a Storm right now, so that's okay. But Storm tells him, hey, she's mates with Clear Sky now. World 2, Greywing 0. Clear Sky is being stupid and overprotective about borders, and apparently Storm's pregnant now. And by the way, it's not just about borders he's being an asshole, but we'll get into that more later. Jagged Peak falls from a tree trying to hunt, on Clear Sky's orders, might I add, and breaks his leg, so they do their best to splint it. Which sounds really silly, cats making splints, but given all that's happened in this series, I'm going with it. Greywing realizes he loves Turtletail, finally, and Hawkswoop is pregnant. Rainswept Flower is almost buried alive a la Hollyleaf, but she gets dug out, and Shattered Ice makes history by proposing tunneling to everyone else. Congratulations, you're a legend. Clear Sky is continuing to be a major asswipe and kicks his own kid brother out of his camp because he's not healing well enough for his standards. And they take Jagged Peak back into the fold. Basically, Clear Sky and Greywing have a fight and disown each other. I don't need to tell you about Clear Sky being a poop nugget, but he keeps at it and doesn't try to stop Fox from killing Greywing. Greywing kills Fox on accident, everyone dies, and Storm's so done with Clear Sky being a douche canoe, she leaves him to go back to Two-Leg Place. It's been days, and Greywing's worried about Storm, so he decides to take off and become a White Knight. At least Turtletail offers to keep him from getting lost, and Bumble actually knows where she is. But Storm wants zero help, because she's determined to look after her kids herself, so he leaves. And comes right back, because apparently her den is under attack according to Turtletail, and oh god, it actually is. Two Legs are destroying the building. Of course. But he's too late, and Storm and all three of her kids are dead. Everyone died. Wait. No. One's perfectly fine. Somehow, they decide to take him to his father because his mother's dead, and Clear Sky, though a douche nozzle, has a strong camp. But before that, they find out he has no name, and decide to name him Thunder. That's right. There's your new protagonist. Guess what Clear Sky says? No. Go on, guess. He turns the tiny, helpless, motherless kid away because he's mourning and mostly angsting about being bad luck. At least Greywing isn't as heartless, and he takes Thunder back to Proto-Wing Clan. And Thunder breaks my heart because he asks why his father doesn't like him. Like, what kind of an asshole? You okay? We're not doing this today. Hawkswoop agrees to take care of Thunder because, hey, she's already gonna be a mom. But everyone still fights and makes threats about keeping him, even though he is literally a tiny child in need of raising and love. And it shows because he's terrified of being kicked out. But Greywing says, to hell with that. I'll be your dad now. Motherfucker.